How many tools in my shop do I not use but just still keep out? No, I'm not going to throw them away, but I am going to put them in a crate to give me more space for the tools I do use. A bit and brace, cool, but I don't use it. It drills holes. I have big American Standard sockets that I use all the time. These big wrenches that I barely use. I purchased these when working on the tractor, but I end up using the sockets. These take up a lot of space. These I use all the time. These I never use. Like I said, I'm not throwing them. I can always go back into this crate and retrieve them if I need them. Here's my grandfather's breaker bar. I don't use it, but I'm not putting it in the crate. This thing has been hammered for years. $12 from Harbor Freight. I hammer on this thing every day, so I don't have to beat on this one. This thing came from an old Nova or something. It never seems to fit whatever I need to use. Oh, there, it fit. Maybe I should keep this one. All right, I'll keep this. Antique Ford wrenches. It's cool, but I don't use it. No sentimental value. A Champion 3/8 drive with a swivel head. These are the ones I use. This old Craftsman works terrific. Somebody else can dig for it. This electric Harbor Freight torque wrench. Here's a bigger electric torque wrench that actually works. I had the bigger Harbor Freight for years, which worked terrific, and then when it broke, I bought this one. Out of the two, I always use this one in the crate. This big one, as much as I want to get rid of, we named it Godzilla. It has gotten us out of so many binds. I always want to get rid of it, but I can't. How about some of these torque wrenches? I bought these, use these all the time. Paid 20 bucks for this 20 years ago. The thing rusted out. Harbor Freight gave me a brand new one. Liked it so much, I got the 3/8 and the 1/4" drive. The kids bought me this one for my birthday, and this one basically replaces this one, and some of I can use my basic wrenches and breaker bars with it. It just connects up. I can torque everything up with this. Use a bigger breaker bar if I need to. It's easy to set the torque. This clicker works real nice, but it's really hard to see these little numbers. I'm keeping these two for sure. These two are just basically taking up space. It's not that they're bad, they're just taking up space. This torque wrench is very small, supposed to have a lot of torque, but it actually doesn't, so I barely use it. We use it sometimes. I'm not gonna put it in the crate. All the impacts have names. This is Bubba, this is Godzilla, this is Bambi. Already I'm loving this space. I can just reach up and grab what I need. This next attack is gonna be difficult. As bad as this looks, I use just about everything in here. This old vice grip looks the worst out of here, but it's probably the best one in here. For all I know, this is one of the original vice grips. This one's junk, but it's small and handy. Harbor Freight sells these for getting hoses off. Amazing. This one's actually Klein, and it works phenomenal. Let me pull the ones up that I kind of don't like. Even though I don't like these much, they still come in handy. You never know what you're gonna have to get into and grab. I'm going to a different drawer. Hammers. This hammer was amazing till the handle broke. All these little crowbars in here, a piece of brass so it doesn't spark when you're working near gas. The handle that broke for that hammer, chrome hammer for auto body. Not a lot of junk here. Chisels. When you get into a situation, you're looking at all these. Here's one that I thought was gonna work and it never has. You're supposed to be able to put this over a nut, and then when you screw it down, it splits it. This one does not work. In the bin. I'm gonna call that progress. Checking the wrenches. I can barely stand this strap wrench. There's times it's got me out of a situation, so I'm not gonna get rid of it yet. Metric standard American stubbies. Use them all the time. 12-point, love it. Real thin. These ratchet ones are all nice and cute and everything, but they're so thick they barely fit. When you can fit it in there, it's really nice to be able to ratchet it out. Of course, you can't hammer something out with it. The mechanism in there is so thin, you'll smash it out if you hit it with a hammer too hard. Big old sockets. For axle bolts, these things are gonna stay right here. Torques and Allens, everything in here is used. This is what I call the specialty drawer. For pulling springs off, disconnecting ball joints, flare nuts for gas line, vacuum gauges, little sticks for cleaning, poly spline for head bolts, vacuum pump, small little mirror. Not getting very far here. Here's some glycerin gauges that would be nice for something, not sure what, because they were a good deal. Water pressure gauge, gotta have it. I've had this impact set since high school, and I've only broken like 3 of them. Probably the most used tools in the shop. Wow, an empty drawer, that's nice. These little swivel joints here, almost never use them. Now, since I don't have a 1/4" drive, I'll keep these little ball sockets are amazing. So these are leaving. We'll do a quick run through here. Old manuals. This stuff is pretty up to date. Precision stuff, not yet. Tapes, yeah, we're keeping that. A lot of this stuff I just use all the time. Wood lathe stuff, this will be for a different day. I've got 2 drawers with files. Might be able to condense those. Wrenches. These flat wrenches come in handy all the time, unfortunately. Really nothing to see here. These are cool, but I use this. These need batteries. Someday I'll replace the batteries, right. Clamps, kind of always use these. More clamps, kind of always use these too. Metal lathe stuff. This will be for another day. I better look in here. I don't need this vise. I've got this vise, which is bigger. This is gonna make the crate heavy. This one fits the old lathe. We don't need this one in here. This goes to the old lathe. We don't need this one. To the old lathe. Old lathe, making more progress than I thought. Another hammer drawer. This is probably my favorite hammer out of all of them. 2 hatchets. I use this one, I don't use this one. This one's an old Craftsman. I'd like to get a handle on this one. I'm not sure about this one. 2 hammerheads the same size. Nope. Yes, I have 2 pliers drawers. Some of these are ground for special purposes. This one would be for clocks. Screwdriver out of place. Really nothing out of this drawer. An empty drawer, room for expansion. And the battery drawer, very extensive. It's always hard to clean your shop, but I don't think I'm gonna miss any of this stuff. And it's in the crate, so if I need it, I can get it later. That is until I decide to get rid of the crate. We'll dig down in here. I'm sure there's something. I use this thing for everything. The slide hammer. Maybe, definitely use this. Junk. This is where these have been hiding. There's a drawer for that. I forgot about this air hammer attachment. This thing does work good. This needs to go on my air hammer. High voltage probe. Alternator tester. I'll just use a voltmeter. It's cute, but I don't want it. The old club. Used to use this all the time. There's no keys. I need to find the keys. This thing's for pressure testing. Goes in the specialty drawer, but it doesn't fit. An air saw that works really good, but I have one. This is an extra. Useful, but it's going in here. These things are nice if you have the air out all the time. Nice, but the battery impact works better. All these Harbor Freight lights. I don't even use these anymore. Not when I have one of these. Magnetic, and it moves wherever you need it. If it's got battery life, I'll keep it. I'll keep 4 of them since they got power. Used to use them, but not anymore. This little arm magnet goes around your wrist so you can put metal bolts on it. Neat idea, but I don't use it. Definitely not getting rid of this. The smoke machine. Made out of a pickle jar with a soldering iron in there. At the bottom, there's a sock with mineral oil. This is a big time keeper. This will pull the water out of your boat. This little pump here is incredible for fluids, so this one's not gonna stay. I wanted to use this. Maybe too big. It fits. String for doing wheel alignments, keeping that. A balloon pump. That looks so much nicer having the space. Here's a real hard drawer. An extra set of these universal joints that work terrific. Yeah, a set of sockets, probably one of the first in the United States made. New Britain, very old. It's cool, but I don't use it. Craftsman sockets, a mixture of Allen sets. My new set has one missing already. Here's a 4mm that'll fit. This is why I don't want to put all the sockets away if you lose or break one. I'll put it in this drawer for a while. So how much is space worth? Quite a bit. That way you can find the items you need, not the ones you don't use. This drill doctor barely works. This Craftsman drill sharpener works a little better. Never use this soldering iron. I'm sure these tool buckets have got all kinds of junk in them. Saws that aren't sharp. This one's sharp. Am I really gonna sharpen them? These barely fit and I should probably just throw them away. I didn't realize I had so many hacksaws. Here's the only one I really use. I'm not sure, it's just way better than the other ones. Gotta keep the coping saw. Extra blades taped to the back. What am I keeping this for? This one was my grandfather's. That's a keeper. I like this handsaw better than this one. Bought a lot of these plumbing tools, like 90% off. I certainly don't need all these packages. Very specialized. Everything fits a lot better without the pack. I gotta say, this is one of my favorite hammers here. Surprisingly, it works amazing. Here's a grinder I thought I would use, but I don't. These are the grinders that I use every day. Starting to fill up that bin. This is broken, needs a battery. I am not gonna fix it. At least I don't think so. Little shop pack, I forgot I had. I really like these big gauges. Easy to read what they're going in here. I was working on a timing chain and I had to pull something out of the box. This one's thin enough to get in there and torque it. The shop's looking a lot better, and if I need something, at least it's not too late. I can still dig in and get it.